Hello and welcome back to another episode of Flutter Original. And today I am with the author of Beamer, one of the Flutter favorite packages related to Navigator 2, and perhaps one of the best ones which makes your life as a developer working with Navigator 2 much easier. And let me welcome Sandro, the author of package. Hello, Sandro.
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks for the warm introduction.
No problem. So can you introduce yourself and tell us what you do and who you are and, everything that you want to share with us?
Yeah, well, I'm Sandro from Croatia. I started experimenting with Flutter somewhere in 2018, I think. And then after a couple of personal projects and some side projects, I also founded a Flutter Buddies group where there was a bunch of people discussing and building projects. We built a couple of apps, and then in my company, I've suggested we use Flutter for everything because we're building web, mobile, and desktop app. And then everyone said yes. I started building Flutter, and then I realized, okay, we're focusing on all platforms. I will need to implement the new Navigator 2.0, as it was called then. And that was the beginning of Beamer. So I started experimenting. I was abstracting things out, reading the John's article about that was one of the first articles about it and only back then. And then it got pretty serious. And then I realized, okay, I can extract this out into a package. Let me publish a package. And then there was like a long time has passed for me to figure out a name for the package, because you cannot call it router because there is router widgets. You cannot, I didn't want to call it like router something or something router. I wanted a clear name, preferably one word that describes it well. Also, I couldn't call it Navigator. And so I was looking for similar names. There is already a package called like Sailor or Voyager. All of those similar words were already taken. And then I remembered I was watching at the time the Star Trek series. And I remember, okay, that's beaming, like magically beaming to some other place in your application. And the Beamer name was coined.
But that's a very cool name, by the way. All right, so we have a bunch of Navigator 2 plugins or packages, sorry, and some of them are favorite like yours. That means you introduce some kind of good quality of a package to Flutter community. And if I quickly go to the pub spec and look at the Beamer package, it just clearly shows that you have a very good coverage, code coverage, and you have a bunch of good stars and likes and things like that. So definitely, you've done a very good job and a very good documentation, by the way. So,
Thanks.
what was your? You initially said your motivation behind it. But what was the most challenging part when it comes to creating a Navigator 2 package where already are some of those others? And what differentiate your package from others?
Well, at the time when I was building Beamer, at the time it was not yet called Beamer. It was just an abstraction in this private app that I was building. At that time, there were no Navigator 2, no router packages. So I think Beamer was, in fact, I wouldn't want to say first, but among the first three, definitely, to use the new router API. So, in the beginning, in the version 0.1, it didn't look like it looks now. It was just some simple package. You didn't have anything much to see, not much functionality, just some basics. And the idea that I had from the start is kept throughout the Beamer history. So the basic idea was, as I figured because I was reading the official design documentation from Google about Navigator 2.0, and I realized that the main idea is, okay, you have some route information that gets into the app, either through browser URL or through some intent. You have this route information, and you have to transform this route information into a stack of pages. So that was a big kind of leap in thinking from route information into a page, but now it's route information into a stack of pages. And that was the basic idea. And then I realized, okay, if we want to build an app that has like 50, 60, 100 screens and multitude of possible page stacks, it's really not good to define them all in a single array, and it would look really messy. And then I realized I need to abstract those things out, kind of couple together similar things, and that was the point I implemented. I made a concept of beam location, and the beam location is the thing that builds a page stack. So you can organize your page stacks into multiple beam locations if you have a large application. So you can imagine a profile page stacks, all the possible. So you have profile, profile details, profile friends, followers, like 3 pages stacked, and all of those combination of profile related pages. And you can handle them in a single place called, for example, profile beam location that extends the base beam location that the package provides. And then, for example, you have a shop part of your app where you have shop carts, remove or shop items, shop categories, all of those page stacks, and you can handle them in a different place called shop location. So you have a clearer sense of what is your navigation about. You don't have to mess and mix everything together. Yeah, and then for a very long time, Beamer just worked with the concept of beam locations. But then as more and more users came, I realized, a lot of requests came that users just simply want to navigate, simply want to define a map of routes, like you had in previously, like routes and a map, which has a string and a screen. So string, screen. And then I formed, like, this was then called a simple beam location, just a one beam location to handle all of the routes. And this was provided by the package. This is now renamed to route beam location, as was discussed in the Flutter Navigator UXR. Some great people there suggested me that I maybe should change this to be more clear, because simple beam location doesn't tell much, but route beam location tells it's about route. So yeah, now the Beamer has like two API worlds. The one, if you are building a simple app, probably like the one we're gonna build now, we can use route beam location, and that's pretty much the fastest way to go. And if you want more complex control of your stacks of pages, or simply want to separate the responsibilities, you can use beam locations API.
Okay, cool. That is great.
And that's that's the answer probably to the question: what differentiates Beamer from other packages? Is this the beam locations concept?
I see. All right. That's very good. So I think this is a starting point that we can maybe go to my famous MJ Coffee app, which I built for all of my tutorial and videos and articles. And let me walk you through this application right now. So we have an application that right now has several pages or screens. We have, I'm particularly wants to navigate from this home page, which is default right now. If you look at this right now, this is a material app, and I have home page, home screen. And from there, I want to navigate to my menu list, which is showing a list of coffees. And then from list of coffees, I'm really interested to go to my details page. So that means I have a coffee that has an ID and I want to go to a particular ID of one coffee. And also, I like to maybe add another routing to profile or maybe other pages. But mainly what I want to do as a starting point for me, so you can onboard me and you can we can implement Beamer to my application. And once that is done, then I can add more functionality and more things that I want as my app is growing for sure. Let's get started. You already got an access to my code base, and we're gonna pair program together. First thing first, I think the first thing that we need to do together is to add the package to PubSpec Gamify, right? Maybe I can do that myself.
Yes.
Let's do that. So there is actually, there is an add dependency right now in Dart plugin. So I can just go there and say Beamer, maybe. And hopefully that will add Beamer to my application. And I think the latest version would be 1.2.0 as of recording of this video. Maybe you will update later, but this is what we have. All right. So, and where should I start? So definitely from Material app, right? Let's get started there. What should I do here?
Yeah, as with all routers, we have to use the new constructor on Material app that's called material app.router.
Okay.
So
it's going to be like here, material.router, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then it will tell us that we need to add two required parameters that are router delegate and route information parser.
Yeah, definitely. Router parser here. Let's keep it there. And router delegate. Yeah, here you go. These are two. And also I need to remove homepage. So I think that doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Where can I get the delegate and information parser then?
Yeah, so route information parser is pretty simple. We can just use Beamer parser.
Like Beamer as a class and...
Yeah, just instantiate Beamer parser class.
Oh, Beamer parser is as like a class as a whole, like...
Yes.
Parser, okay. Beamer parser, maybe I think I need to import it then maybe myself. Let's import package.
Nice.
Does this accept any it accept unparsed? Is it like a callback or?
Yeah, this is a function that we can insert in bit, and this will be called so Beamer parser or any route information parser is to intercept the incoming route that is coming from the browser URL or any intent, and it needs to parse it into a type that the router delegate will understand.
I see.
Beamer does this pretty simply. It just leaves it to be route information. So it comes as route information and it gets out as route information. And this onParse method, so you can change it in between.
I see. Okay, that's good.
But that's rarely used.
Okay, that's good to know. Delegate. So
for delegate, similarly like we had Beamer parser, we have Beamer delegate.
Okay, it's like Beamer. Yeah, here we go. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, and now we came to the most important concept, the location builder. So here we have to specify the beam location, which will be returned. So this location builder is a function that receives the route information and some beam parameters that are not important and needs to return an appropriate beam location. So if you, for example, are using multiple beam locations, then you would do some ifs here, depending on what the route information is, which beam location supports which route information, and you would return the appropriate one. So this location builder is a function that gets called every time we navigate. So every time we navigate, the route information gets into the location builder, which chooses the right beam location, and then that beam location builds a stack of pages. So, but now in this simple application, we're going to use, so we have three choices for location builder. We can use route location builder, that's the simplest. We can use beamer location builder, that's a little bit more advanced, but accepts multiple beam locations. And we can use a fully custom closure function that we determine with our own logic which beam location to return. So in this case, we're going to use just routes beam location, routes location builder.
That's actually interesting. So when you say a custom function, which means that I can completely overwrite your logic and then write my own logic here in this case.
Well,
somehow.
Yeah, at least in the sense of which beam location you want to return.
Yeah, sure.
You must return a beam location, but yeah, you can determine it in your own way.
What could be the use case for that? Like, why would I use a custom beam location?
Well, you would use custom beam locations to separate building of your page stack. So if you have a complicated application, as I said, you can have a profile beam location for all of the profile page stacks. You have shop beam location for all of the shop related page stacks and so on. And here, then you can determine, okay, if the route information contains a word shop or something like that, I'm going to return shop beam location. If it doesn't, I'm going to return some default beam location and stuff like that. So that's the point of it. And that one location builder in between, the beamer location builder, it just does that by itself. So you just give him the list of all of your beam locations and it will determine the right one. But if you don't want it to determine, if you want to determine it yourself with ifs, then you can provide.
That's interesting. Yeah.
But we're going to use routes beam location.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, that's good. So then now we have three options, as you mentioned, and we're going to go for the simplest one for this application, but there are other use cases as well. We will get back to this later, but let me just continue right now. What should we do right now? Here, probably.
So now we have to give it an instance of routes location builder.
Okay, it's routes location.
Routes.
Yeah, sorry. Routes location builder here. There we go. So it's gonna have routes. Okay.
Yeah, and there's the familiar map of routes.
Yeah. Okay, that's gonna be a map, right? For sure.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. I have my map here. Okay. Then here's I can probably have the key as the URL of the page, right? So then this is
definitely.
This is going. Is it going to have like kind of like a builder? So then I have like a context and state, and then probably homepage,
exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
Perfect. So I'm getting some kind of error here.
Yeah, you're missing the quotation.
Where yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, and then additionally, context state and data it's going to receive.
Yeah, let me see what is the error here. Is it because of annotations? No, there is some kind of error here. The element type.
Yeah, there's.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a third argument that's called
exactly.
Data. So context, state, and data. Yeah.
Okay.
This was added pretty recently.
Then I have my home. I think it's home screen. Yeah, there we go. All right, that's nice. Then by default is this like the slash is going to be my home page, right? By default.
Yeah, this is but it's not the first one that you defined. It's on the Beamer delegate has a property called initial path. So initial path is by default a slash.
Oh, okay, I see. Like, here we go. So then here I can say By default, it's slash, but I can say anything else. Like I can say go to homepage, for example.
Yes. Yeah.
What if I have a question here, right? What if right now I have a homepage, but I have not defined it yet? What will happen?
Well, it will not find that route, and it will show you the not found page, and you can override what that page looks like in the not found page property of Beamer Delegate.
Okay, there is a not
but
found.
It also has a default value. So default value will be just a simple scaffold with
it's
not found.
Beam page as I see right now. Okay. Yeah, good. So this is going to be like a Beam page, right? I like to actually play around a little bit. So Beam page, and what is and that's going to have a child, and I can pass like a text right now and say not found, right? Something like that.
Well, probably, but that's not gonna look nice.
I understand. I mean,
but
the whole idea is we can pass the widget, like we can say scaffold, blah 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 blah. Okay, that's fine. But I mean, the point here, we understand how we can override this, which is here, and that is really good. So I think I messed up something, but I don't know what. There are some. That's okay. That's okay. That's my linter. Okay. But what probably isn't it better like as a best practice? So because then this is going to grow very fast. Isn't it better like to move this to further up somewhere to a variable, and then we can move everything?
Yeah, that's a great approach to move Beamer Delegate into a separate.
Let's
variable.
say route delegate here, and let's do that actually. Then I come maybe here somewhere.
Yeah, you can also define it globally if you want, because it's not going to change. It's just one route.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we can come
application. Yeah, and then you can, if you access that variable, you can navigate without context, without anything, if you want.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I understand what you mean. Then I can actually move this somewhere there, or maybe another file, and then we can move on there. And that's good. Okay. For now, let's keep it here. Okay, then perhaps, well, I mean, if I refresh right now, I mean, hot reload. Let's see if it works first.
Yeah, we should see a not found.
Actually, we see a not found. That's correct. Let me move to home page, and we see home page. That is fantastic. So then another thing is that I'm going to move actually the action on the click on the button, sign in button, will be moving to listing page. So let's define that. Then can I here say just maybe list, and then I say my list or my menu screen. Okay. So and this is, well, I need to go back to home page, and where I have this button here. So after a sign in is correct, then I want to navigate to now different page. So how should I call router here in this case, or Beamer?
Yeah. So we need to access the Beamer, and we can access it with beamer.ofContext.
Okay.
Or as we discussed previously, we could access that router delegate global variable if we wanted to navigate without context.
But let's stick to the context right now. Beamer.of context, and then I'm gonna have a bunch of method here.
Yeah. So you can find out a lot, but the ones we are looking for start with beam. With the worm beam, and then we have multiple options.
Yeah, beam back to name and replacement.
Yeah, beam to name.
This is great. This is similar to the replace until and things like that in Navigator 1, right?
Yeah, but it's similarly called, but it's very different.
Yeah, I see.
So beam to replacement will replace the current beam location and not the current page. So that's something that's not obvious from the start, because Beamer operates only on page stacks, on beam locations, not on single pages.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. So then what I need to do here is calling to, right?
Yeah, beam to named would be
to name
way. Yeah.
And then should I just...
And then we can just put /menu.
Whatever
how was it?
It was list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is going to be name.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. And what is to then? So there is a function here. It says beam to, and that is
beam. Yeah. Beam to accepts the beam location.
Oh,
so
I see.
You can beam to a specific entire beam location configured the way you want.
I see. All right, good. Let me hot restart my application. Okay, so that means if I now click on, that's already working. That's perfect. Okay, that's the first thing we wanted to do. And now you're looking at my application. You see that I have these pages, coffees that I want them to, when I click on them, they go to the details page. Each of these coffees has an ID. So I prefer to have an ID in my route, because I'm also planning to kind of convert my application to web, and I want to get like the ID of these, from the URL somewhere. So I bet that is possible with your package for sure, right? Yeah. So how can I do that?
Yeah. So you can just copy the list entry, and we're just gonna add to it like / and I really don't know how to say it in English.
Is it like a parameters, like
like that.
Okay,
like that, column. And then you can call it ID or anything what you want.
Okay, then it's going to be ID. Okay, then I can say this is going to be, well, here's the difference, because I think in my, let me find menu detail. Yeah, because I need to pass coffee, or like maybe in this case I can pass an ID. Yeah. Doesn't matter. I mean, something I need to pass to the constructor. Yeah. Then how can I do that?
Yeah, we can keep the coffee. So in this case, we want to do something else and not just return the widget immediately. So we're not going to use that notation with functions. We're going to open the braces and write function that will return at the end. We will return
like what I want to return, right?
I forgot how it's called. Menu details.
Yeah, sure.
And then before that, we can extract the ID.
Let's see, that probably where I will have some kind of like a coffee here as a variable where I want to do like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on then.
Okay, so we want to extract that ID that we declared in the path.
Mm-hmm.
We want to know what it is. And this ID will be in the state.
Okay.
So that state variable.
Like state dot
state
path.
And yeah, you can figure out which one. What do you think it is?
Well, which one is it? Is it a query param or is it a path param?
Yeah, that's a path parameter. Yeah.
What's the difference?
Yeah, query parameters are the ones that come after if you put a question mark and then declare parameters in the URL. But we don't have to declare them in our list of routes. They're just can be there because they're not a part of the path. They're just.
And then I'm gonna have, well, in the path parameters I can just probably access it like that, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's perfect.
Okay. Then this. But can this be null? I don't think so, right? So because
yes,
it can.
No, yeah, it cannot be null in this case. Yeah.
Okay. But then I have a list of coffees.
But we have to be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have to be careful because this path parameter is going to be a string. if we maybe
okay.
need an integer, we're gonna need to parse it and be careful with
don't
that.
know actually we need an integer. Let me see if I have no, not coffees. I have a list of coffees. Well, definitely we need an integer. Yeah. So then I actually already have a list of coffees. So let me quickly create a function here, just a helper function. Let's say get coffee, and actually what I want to do here, let's quickly mock it, is that I have a coffees. What did I call it here? Yeah, here, coffees. Coffees, and then we don't need a function actually. We will come there. The coffees dot where. So this is coffee. Then coffee dot ID dot to string. So I can maybe do that instead of like parse that. So then it's equal to
nice.
ID. And then this is giving me the coffee. Yeah. Oh, that's good. But this coffee, sorry, that's gonna be the first one. Good. So then I get the ID from the path parameters or whatever else that I'm passing. And I'm to my curiosity, can we have a route like this one as well, like a bunch of parameters like ID, name, or I don't know, whatever?
Yeah, we sure can.
Okay, so then you parse all of this and then add them to the path parameters. Then I can actually retrieve it from there, right? Okay, that's good.
Yes.
So that there is no such a concept of child and parent path here in this case.
Yeah, this is a great question. And here in the routes location builder, that's the routes location builder exists because we want the most simple possible API, and that's that. But you have to understand how the routes location builder will build a stack of pages, because we have to remember it's all about stack of pages. So even if this looks like every path is a single page, it's not. The routes location builder will stack the pages which paths contain themselves in them. So in this example, it will stack the list /ID on top of /list screen. Mm-hmm. So we will have a stack of menu screen and menu detail screen, and we will have a back button. And routes location builder does that. But of course, there's a limitation then. We couldn't call this list /ID path anything else. We must contain the /list for it to be similar as the menu screen path is. Because if it's not going to end up in the same page stack.
Oh, I see. Okay, so
but if we are using the Beam Locations API, the advanced one, then we can build a stack ourselves. We don't need to worry about those stuff.
That's good to know. So what you say is that like now I have actually very nice nested like path that they are matching somehow. But if I suddenly from here say, well, I decide to say detail, and then suddenly then I'm going to get from this, I'm going to get ID and then detail and then a slash, where detail does not exist, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you say.
And that's mean when we navigate to the detail /ID, we're just going to have the menu detail screen. We're not going to have the menu screen behind it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we'll still be able to navigate.
That's good to know. So now I have defined this. Then I want to go back to my menu screen and where I have my coffees. So here is a list of coffees that there will be. Okay, here is where I want to install the navigator or implement the navigator. So again, I can say Beamer dot of context dot go, and not go. I was beam
to
to
name.
name. And that is going to be okay. Then I can say like that.
No, you can just like that. Yeah, like that.
So I think in this case it's gonna be this one, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe it's good to mention here, we also have context extensions, so we could just write context.beam to name.
Oh, is it? Okay, so then that means I can say just context. Context that, that's simpler for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
What if now in this route, I want to have for web, for example, I want to have query param?
Yeah, you can just you can type them in the in the path, not like that.
Okay,
just
like this.
Put a question mark and like that. Like it would be in the.
Like let's say is web, just something equal 1.
Yep.
And that's going to be parsed as query param, then, which means I can come back to
you can print it there and
so then I can come back here, and then I'm gonna have my query param here. Then it's gonna be is web, and then I can look at the is web, for example, something like that.
Yeah.
Good. So okay. So let's test this one out. Let's hot restart. Go there. Click. Well, definitely it goes to my detail page, nice. Which is nice. Okay, so that means we are covering like simple navigation as well as kind of nested navigation, right? So this is the last example was a nested navigation. So we're moving.
Well, yeah, I would not call it nested navigation. I think nested navigation, in my experience, is something that requires that we have a separate navigator widget somewhere in the widget tree. See. So here, when we have just material app.router, we're dealing with one navigator. The beamer, specifically the beamer delegate, builds that navigator and is responsible for that navigator. But for example, if we wanted, for example, in your bottom navigation bar, so bottom navigation tab is a widget, and the body of it, the things above the bottom navigation bar is kind of nested navigation, because inside we are navigating, but that navigation is not changing the entire screen.
I see.
It's not changing the bottom navigation. So in order to do something like that, we need to insert a new navigator. And that navigator needs to be connected with the root navigator at material app.router. So it becomes very complicated. In Beamer, it's pretty simple to achieve that. So you can just insert Beamer widget anywhere in the widget tree where you want to have that nested navigation. And then you must provide router delegate and Beamer parser, Beamer delegate and Beamer parser to the Beamer, the same as to the material app.router.
Okay, cool. So another use case, which I'm now thinking, is sometimes I actually don't do it much, to be honest. I don't like it, but that is, I see sometimes in the application that we need to pass some kind of data from, the navigation or navigator. So this was possible also in Navigator 1. I'm just wondering, like, how can we do that with Beamer here in this case?
Yeah, we could do that. An interesting thing to do maybe would be we could pass the entire coffee object maybe as data. And so, let's go back to the definition of our route.
Yeah, let's do that. You guide me. Or maybe you can write it yourself. if you want.
So yeah. First of all, let's go to the menu screen, to the place where we navigate.
Here is
the menu screen.
Yeah, let me just beam. Okay, there we. No, actually, it was homepage. Sorry,
where was
that was?
Oh, yeah.
That's
Beam 2 named.
No, I know. I just want. Yeah, it was in. Here we go. Once more. Okay. Here's where we have the like each.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right there. So we can, in the beam to named function, provide the data parameter. So we can say data. Data can be any object. So it can be our coffee.
Let me ask you a question, because I've seen transition delegate here. What's the use case here?
Yeah. Well, the transition delegate is if we just for this specific beaming event, if we want to have a different transition delegate. Transition delegate is the algorithm on which pages, one stack of pages replaces another stack of pages. So, for example, this is rarely overridden. I mean, but you can choose a pre-made. We have a pre-made transition delegate in Beamer. For example, no transition, no animation transition delegate. So if you use that, then the pages that you navigate to, it will just no transition will happen. It will just appear.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
But if you want to provide your own transition delegate, you have to override the transition delegate class, which is pretty hard, I would say.
Okay, that's good. So now let me pass my data, which is going to be my coffee in this case, and this is getting from the list.
Yeah.
So now
and then
okay.
Yeah, we're still gonna pass the index. I mean, we could call this path like just /list/coffees, or we can still provide the ID.
It doesn't you mean matter. That like I could say like that?
Yeah, but we already have.
We already have that data for sure.
Yeah. So, but we have to be careful here for the viewers, because we don't want to do that, because in the web application, because this is fine if we are navigating from a screen that has a coffee to another screen, and so we can give him the coffee object. But if we're deep linking directly to that specific coffee, we're not going to get a coffee. So we always want to parse the ID that came from the path, but this data can be used for some small data, like I don't know, user did something on the last screen and that should change how this screen looks. Something that is temporary, and it doesn't need to be even persist. By just refreshing, it can go away, and that doesn't like have any effect for the user experience, let's say. Exactly. Okay, that's good. So then how can I parse this right now? Which means I can go back to my menu, my main. So to our route. Yeah. And we can see the third parameter that we had problems with in the beginning that I was talking about. Mm-hmm. This is the one that's gonna essentially be your coffee. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That is going to be my coffee, right? So if I just now say, actually, let's do that. I know that you said that you should not do that, but I mean, just for demonstration, if I now say final coffee here is equal data, we would have to do data as coffee. Yeah, we need to make sure that is okay. That's good. Then still I will
have my coffee. Let's test it out. I'm gonna
let's test
remove this.
I don't remember if I did that anytime.
I also don't like it. I mean, well, let's test it out. Yeah, it works.
Yeah,
it works actually in mobile right now, but it will not probably work in if you go to browser and so.
Well, if you navigate directly to the list ID, it won't work on any platform. But
yeah.
If you came from the menu page, it will work on every platform.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's good. So, all right, then we have our ID here. Let's go back here. Just an example. It was just an example. We don't need that. All right, that's good. So, give me. I think this is what I want to achieve, and from now on, I can build on top of this. That means I can go and define my list details, and let's say child and children's and stuff like that. But do you have any like particular common use cases that you've seen in different applications? We are very common that we have not covered it right now, and then you want to talk about it.
Well, definitely things that I mostly hear about are nested navigation. So putting multiple beamers everywhere within the widget tree, but I think I heard most of those stories because those are the hard stories. The easy stories you don't hear often. So I wouldn't know what to say. What is some common use cases that
how hard
is this? Is really
how hard is to implement a nested navigation? I do have.
It's not. We can do.
I think I do have. Actually, this is the bottom sheet right now. You see, I really like to have them as a nested navigation. Maybe should we do that?
Yeah. So. Well, we can try, but it's gonna take some time, I guess.
Let's do that.
Okay, we have to go to our routes once again because we're gonna need to change some things.
Okay.
So we're not. Now we have to answer a question. A question is, when we open a single coffee, do we want it to appear on entire screen, or just in that segment above the bottom navigation bar?
Mm-hmm. I think in this case, for my case, it's if you look at it, it's entire screen. Or you don't see anything.
Okay, so then we can leave it like this. And then we must go into the menu screen. So we can leave all of those routes as they are.
Yeah.
And this is going to work. And we have to go in the menu screen. Yeah. And where is the body of menu screen?
Okay, the body is going to be...
so we have a bottom navigation and we have a body.
Yeah, this is going to be here. So actually, this is the body. And this is the bottom navigation. Yeah. And the body here is loading based on the index. You see that it's going to be 3 pages. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. So we need to handle all those pages within our navigation. Again, there are two approaches that we can take. And we're going to take, I think, the simpler one. So let's instead, where our body is, we're going to put beamer there.
Like instead of tabs that selected index.
So yes, we're going to have a beamer inside.
Just beamer?
Beamer, yeah.
Okay. That's going to have a router delegate, right?
Yeah.
And that would be routes beam location, right? Oh, no, sorry.
No, that would be beamer delegate.
Yeah, I made a mistake.
That will then accept the, So now we're basically doing the same thing we did in the material app.router, but we're just putting it just on this portion of our application. Again, yes, we're going to use route location builder.
Okay.
And then we're going to define our 3 screens that we have as routes. So, but important thing here is because this screen was built because we went on /list route, we have to keep the consistency of route. So we have to name each of them. We have to begin each of them with /list.
Aha. Okay. So we start from
So,
/list, then we start from /.
So let's.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay.
Yeah. So let's name the first one like /list/first.
Aha. Okay, like that.
Yeah. And this is gonna return the first tab.
This is going to be this one. Okay. So this is going to be this one, and then we're gonna have context, state, and data.
And data. Yeah.
Good.
And similarly, we can define the other two.
Let's do that then. Then it's gonna be second, and it's gonna be third. That is going to return. Well, I definitely can have condition, right? Okay, it doesn't really matter actually.
Okay.
I can at the moment it doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna have this, and I wanna have for the third one profile. Okay, then I have my routes for this page ready. Okay.
Yeah. Let me just think for a moment. Okay, so we're gonna need to change the routes there to be consistent with these ones. So let's go to the routes on the material app.router.
Yeah. So you mean that in main?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And because our first one is the menu, we have not found here because we declared that the menu is at okay, so I think we need to name this route /list/first.
Okay, that this one.
Because it's gonna be the default, the initial. And then we have to add the first also to the second route to be /list/first/id. Because we want that ID page to be on top of the first.
You mean like that?
Tab there. No, there in the.
Okay.
Yeah, we could.
Sure.
Yeah, there, here, yeah. So that should work. So let's go to the menu screen.
Yeah.
Okay, we have it like this, and what if you start to restart the application?
I will. Let's see if it's like that. That would be very easy. Not found. What if we can move this? Because now it makes sense to move it to list/star. Like, we can move this to where is the menu screen? Here. We can move this. If we have list.first, second, third, and also ID, as we had already there. And that could be the whole logic here. Like,
yeah, that could work, but then the details would be shown. The bottom navigation bar will be present still.
Is it? Oh,
because that's the nested beamer inside, just on that portion of the screen.
You mean because I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
I'm just curious if it really works. First of all, no, it doesn't. You know why? Because as soon as it goes to menu screen, it's detecting. This is kind of like a dynamic thing, right? So the second thing after all of them somehow is becoming an ID. So then maybe we can do this way instead. Yeah, now it's working. And now it's working. And now it's working.
Yeah, but as you see, the bottom navigation
it's there.
is here.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So, but this is the approach we tried before.
But that is
we just
interesting.
had this list first ID. We had it in the root.
Yeah, I mean, this when I
navigation.
move it,
Wait.
when I move it there, then it should work, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but probably this star is keeping it. So let's instead of yeah, but we need.
Does ordering matter in this case? No.
I don't think so. But
it actually
maybe.
matters.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. It's the ordering. Yeah. Well, this is a use case I really rarely do with routes location builder, and it's wow, yeah. And I just remember what else we could do. We could have done instead of just providing a string.
Yeah.
This can also be a regular expression. So we could, instead of star, we could use a regular expression and say, okay, this can be list/first, list/second, list/third.
That's like,
and then the ordering would even not matter, because it would be the entire thing must be a regexp object, and then.
Okay, that's good. Let me hot restart right now. So that means if I now click on sign in, I get a list. That is good. And then I click and okay, I get an error. This looks like I don't have ID here because this is returning nothing right now. I believe there is no ID.
Yeah. And that the only possible solution for that is if that star took over the entire path. So maybe if we move that path with the star to be the last one, we handled the last, then this path with ID could take over.
But that makes sense.
Be chosen first.
Oh, that makes sense, because then when you reach to this point, then this is going to take over the rest of the root things that start from lists, right? Oh, that means if I move this like here, I should have now working solution. Where do you go? Yeah, there you go. That is working.
Wow.
Perfect. Nice. And I think now the last thing is, this is like the thing that we want to do, right? I'm not sure if it's working.
Yeah. So
it doesn't work because we don't say how to work.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we have to go there and also again call context beam to named. I mean, we have to call beam to named, but we won't be able to call it on context.
Well, where should I do that? In the bottom navigation?
Yeah. Yeah, in the bottom navigation bar, on the click on tapped.
Yeah.
So on tap, we could just
yeah.
So if the index is 0, we beam to named /list/first. If the index is 1, we beam to named /list/second.
Like
and
beam
so on.
to name. Sorry.
Beam to named.
Beam to named, and that is going to be list/first.
/first.
Okay, I see. So let's actually do that. So let's say if index equal to 0, then else if index equal to 1, and else is, we definitely have 2. Let's say index 2. Okay, so then
That's in fact should work.
It's working actually, but
it's working. But we're seeing the transition on the entire screen, and this is a great point. So we don't want the entire screen to transition, but just the part above the bottom navigation. But why is the entire screen transitioning? This is because we're calling beamer of context. So we're getting the beamer, the first beamer from the widget tree, and that is the root beamer, the beamer that we defined in the material app.router. So the root navigation is doing the navigation, and the root navigation is responsible for the entire screen. But we just want to navigate on that beamer that we put into the body. So if we want to do that, we'll have to define a key on that beamer so we can reference it.
Like,
so go to the beamer. Yes.
Yeah.
That beamer, and we can put a key. That can be, that should be global key. Yeah.
Okay.
Of beamer state.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we can beamer state.
Okay.
But we can extract this into a variable because we're going to need to pass it into our bottom navigation widget.
Yeah. Here's the, well, I can maybe rename it to
beamer key. Yeah.
Extracted here.
So nice. So now we need to give that beamer key also to our bottom navigation bar.
Okay. So then here is beamer key.
Yeah. And then
key.
We're going to navigate not through beamer of context, but through, we don't need to put the key on bottom navigation bar itself. We're just going to use the beamer key. Yeah, this is the error because,
Yeah. And then I can pass this
and
to
now
on
we're
track.
gonna. So yeah, what we want is this. It's not. How was it called? It's not auto. Oh, here it is. So we want it like this, but we also want to pass the beamer key.
I see.
Let's do it like that. We could pass the beam. Let's make it the first argument. Sounds better. And then.
Okay, then maybe here I can take over, and then, yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
So beamer. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what just happened?
That happens when we pair program. Okay, good.
Okay, and now we need to use that. Do you want to take over?
Yeah. So then I can.
So instead of beamer of context, we must use beamer key, and from the beamer key we must access current state, or current state, and in the current state.
Let's wait a minute. This is a global.
I didn't. Yeah, this is global key of beamer state. Yeah, I didn't put the correct.
Yeah, I was just thinking like, okay, then I have current state, which is working.
Yeah, current state, and then in the current state we have router delegate.
Yeah.
And this is our router delegate that we defined that contains all of the routing information. But current state can be null, so you have to put a question mark there.
Yeah. But we're making sure that is not. Okay.
Yeah, it's not. Nice. So now we should see when you click the bottom tabs, now you should see the navigation happen only in that part of the.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, and now we can talk about the nested navigations, but now we see what nested navigation is. So nested navigation is putting where navigation happens, putting that somewhere enclosed in our screen. So not on the whole screen. But then we can see this transition. We might want to move that transition to not have it. So, and then we come to the transition delegate that you talked about.
Yeah.
We can do that. Yeah.
I just did it right now.
I
just want to see if that's the way that it's supposed to be, right?
Nice. Let me see.
Yeah, I just added to all of these routes. Do you mean that now? Aha. This is what I wanted. That's good.
Yeah, but if we don't want to type it 3 times, we can just define the transition delegate on the entire beamer delegate.
Oh, can we?
Is responsible for this.
Yep. Like here.
Yeah.
That's very good. Okay, that's perfect. That's good. So this is a very advanced use case, to be honest, and I liked it.
Yeah, and we managed to make it all happen with just routes location builder, which is simple and limited, as we talked. But yeah.
Oh, very good. Thank you very much. Then let's end this session here. There are a lot probably, in your documentation that we can read and probably implement. But these are the most use cases that I can think of in an application in the beginning that you start.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, we also have, maybe we didn't mention guards, but yeah, we also have guards. Like if you don't have access to navigate somewhere, the guard will stop you or redirect you.
It's a very nice concept.
But all of the examples can be found. We have in the repo, there are a bunch of full app examples implementation.
So the concept of guards is like you have protected the pages that needs kind of authentication, let's say, and then you want to redirect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We can try it like 2 minutes tops. It's gonna take us to define a guard.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay. So guards are defined on the Beamer delegate. So Beamer delegate has a property guards. Let's go to the root Beamer delegate in the main.
Yeah, I'm there.
And and then there is a property called guards of Beamer delegate.
Yeah.
And guards is a list, so it needs to be a list of beam guards. So we can start typing beam guard.
Okay.
And we see that we have to provide path patterns and a check function. So path patterns is a list, again. It's a list of paths that we want to protect. So for example, we want to protect /list/first.
Or let's say this.
Or let's say this one with the ID. Nice. And for the check is the function that will receive 2 arguments, context and this was changed pretty recently, so probably, but you don't need it, so you can just put the underline.
That's location.
Yeah, beam there, current beam location. So let's just return false.
That's it.
And that's gonna mean we can't go there. And then this as it's set up right now, you have to restart it. It will not give us the access to go there.
But what does it do then?
Well, if we didn't provide any other parameter, it will just not navigate. But then we can provide a beam to named property.
Okay.
Of the beam guard. So beam guard has beam to named. And we can specify where then to redirect.
Let's say home page.
The check has failed. Yeah.
Is it going to be
beam to named? Yeah. Also accepts 2 arguments that are start beam location and target beam location.
Function.
So
okay.
Yeah, it's a function. Yeah. So, but we won't use it, so we can just.
Then it's going to be this one and this one.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem actually be asked.
You have to put 2. Yeah, you have to put 2 underscores for the second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so which means now, if I click there, actually routing here, I believe it doesn't match this.
Did we hot restart? Full restart the app? I didn't see.
Yes. I think this is again related to these list things. But can we protect the whole list? Like everything?
Yeah. You mean, do we have a list route? Yeah, we have to put a star then if we want to protect everything. Yeah.
I want to protect. Yeah. This is a use case. I have here, and I want the logging, and I want, if it's not like whatever logic here is not authenticated, then don't go there. And that is working. That's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I just realized patterns don't accept the parameters, so we should have put the star instead of colon ID.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, yeah.
You mean it should be like first a star?
Yeah.
Okay, but actually, I wanted to protect the whole list. Doesn't matter. So that's good.
Yeah.
That was easy. Good.
Nice.
All right, very good. So I think then we should end it right now. And let me ask you the last question is that what is the feature in Beamer that you like the most and you're maybe are the proudest, for example, for that feature to be implemented?
If I have to say a single feature, I'm really not sure, but the entire concept of beam locations, I'm really proud of that concept. Unfortunately, maybe in another video we can implement the same thing using the beam locations instead of routes location builder. That would be nice. I kind of feel like there is something that happened recently that I was just like, wow. Yeah, I mean, this happened like yesterday when it was such a simple fix by one of my contributors, but it solved a problem that we had for a long time and that I didn't see. So we have nested beamers, and then those beamers are connected and they're listening. So the nested beamer is listening to the parent. When the parent updates, it rebuilds everything, and this inner beamer will also listen to that and update itself. But you have a property called update from parent that you can set to false, and then it will not listen. But during the initialization, during the first build, it always listened. And this was a bug that no one has seen, and it was just a simple fix. So this happened recently in the version 1.2. So that's what I clearly remember.
That's good. All right. Thank you very much, Sandro, for giving me your time and, coming to this show and talking about Beamer. I think we had a very nice conversation about some simple and as well as very advanced topics, nested routing. And it went very well. I really enjoyed our conversation where I didn't actually forget that we are almost around 1 hour and 30 minutes talking. So
yeah, I remember you saying, "Oh, we're not gonna fill the entire hour."
Sure,
but
it was very interesting and very, very nice and a smooth conversation, which I didn't want to interrupt and stop it. So I think people will enjoy this conversation, and I really need to thank you again for coming to the show. And you can always feel this show is yours, and you can always come back and update us with what you've done, the awesome things that you're doing for the community. Thank you very much.
Nice. Thanks for having me, and I'll be happy to return some other time.
Then have a good day and night. See you next time.
Yeah, you too. Bye.